to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is fantastic that you are here with me for our weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing the 15th of December 2025. Halfway through December, have you felt the shift on the monthly hexagram where we were working with holding together, leadership, binding, trying to find a way of unifying with what's important, finding some difficulty, and moving into the second part now as we move into the second half of December of contemplation, the bigger picture? Are you thinking more strategically at the moment? Are you thinking, what is this bigger picture I'm trying to create? What is the perspective I need? What do I need to do to elevate myself and look back down on my picture to get greater clarity? Do that work this last few weeks of December. Last week we had Hexagram 51, shock, shake up. Right, I encourage us to think about getting into the eye of the storm, not getting caught up in the drama and the things that are happening, not letting that energy come in, all right, keeping it at bay, staying calm, moving with the center of the storm, okay, being agile, not getting into fear or getting stuck, but just being in flow, being present and just letting the shake-up energy move us forward. Hexagram 51 is all about taking action, movement, energy, acceleration. And we also had Hexagram 21, biting through. A hexagram that encourages us to tackle things, to bite through things, to get our teeth stuck into the problems that are in front of us and be vigorous and energetic. And with that, we resolve and we release the energy that is stuck. 2 hexagrams last week, which is all about moving, shaking, clearing the air, clearing the obstacles, moving forward. And I trust that something came to your awareness, something came to your life where you could step into that energy and you could bring the I Ching flow to that moment and be victorious with it. And of course, if anything came up for you this past week that connected to that, it'd be great to hear you share or your story. All right, let's get into this week. We have 4 changing lines. Okay, so stay with me as we work through quite a complex week. Okay, lots going on. Our first hexagram is hexagram 63, after completion. I love the fact that this hexagram has come up in this week, because for me, from a team management work week, it is all coming to a close. So I see this energy of things being complete and how we manage the completion process, the last few steps. And perhaps for you, this is also your last week, or you're completing something important for you. This hexagram is about after completion, right? Not before completion, the last few steps before we reach the summit. No. This is after completion, right? We are finishing the finishing. You've heard me say that before. And I thought so much about this hexagram as being akin to a meal. You know, we often talk about the idea of crossing the river, and in the last stage of the river, that last little bit, you don't not decide to turn around or change your strategy, because that puts you into peril. You stay the course and you complete what's already completing. That's the energy of this hexagram. And I think then, of course, back to that meal idea of you having a meal, whether you're sharing that meal with somebody else or you're having a meal by yourself, and you need to finish it. And the stage this hexagram speaks to is we have the last mouthful in our mouth and we're chewing, and we put the knife and the fork together. We put our napkin down. Okay, we are in that last bit where we are still chewing over what's left in our mouth, that last bite, and we are finishing it. When we're eating a meal, we don't get halfway through the chew and go, nah, I'm not into this anymore, let's change tack. No, you finish what's in your mouth, whether you like it or not, and you swallow it down. So that's what I want us to think about as we go into this festive season. And we are spending a lot of time with family, and we're spending a lot of time on a holiday, or perhaps more time with family than normal. And the meal, the shared meal, is a powerful symbol for us to contemplate. What is it that we are finishing? What is on our plate that we need to finish up, right? We are past the point of being able to push the plate aside and not have. We are finishing what's on this plate. Okay, come hell or high water. So our week is dedicated and focused on this idea of finishing the finishing, completing what is already being completed, not starting new things, not changing strategy, not generating new ideas, finishing it, completing the completion. Okay, So that is where our attention is this week. And we have 4 changing lines. Now, when you have 4 or more changing lines, what it does is it brings an intensity in the flicker over from hexagram 1 to the outcome of the relating second hexagram. Okay, the energy is going clock, 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 clock. 4 clicks. And then it clicks into our outcome hexagram. And every time a changing line clocks over, it generates a new hexagram. So if you wanted to get really pedantic about it, you could go and change just that changing line, starting on the first one. Okay, change that first one, then clock it off. Change the next one, clock it off. And you could generate another 4 hexagrams between the starting one and the outcome one. Okay, so that gives you an idea. When I talk about 4 more changing lines, there being an intensity of energy, it really does bring that. It brings us 6 hexagrams in the week. Okay, the first one, the outcome relating hexagram, and 4 clock-overs, okay, between the start and the finish. Lots of change. And there are some schools of thought that say when you have 4 or more, you don't read the 4 of the first hexagram, you read the unchanging lines in the second hexagram. But I'm not going to do that today. We're going to go and we're going to stick to the traditional approach and read the 4 lines as they present themselves. All right, position 1, 2, 5, and 6. The first 2 and the last 2. Let's get into how they are influencing us this week. In position 1, this changing line says it is wise to put on the brakes. Okay. We're entering the water, we're entering in this last phase, and there's a temptation to rush, but no, we need to be cautious, put on the brakes, and just take it easy. What we need will come. So whatever's happening in this week, if we rush into it, okay, and we are overzealous, and we try and push forward to this completion too fast as we start the week, remember it's just right at the beginning of the week, we run the risk of getting the tail wet and getting stuck in the water, okay, and having to flail around and find ourselves. Okay, we take caution, we put brakes on the wheels. That's what we need to do. Brakes on the wheels. Just hold back just a little bit. Don't be too hasty. In the second position, this changing line refers to this little line saying she, the wife or the lady, loses her ornaments or the curtains of her carriage or her garments. So there's different references to ornaments, okay, or jewelry, I would imagine, or garments or the curtains of the carriage, which in those ancient times the lady traveled covered up, right? And she couldn't travel if the curtains were not down, protecting her as she traveled through town on her sedan chair or whatever it was that they were carrying her in. So what this refers to is losing something that protects us, losing something that's precious or adorns us, okay? And what this says is in 7 days, don't worry, don't chase after whatever has been lost or taken away. In 7 days, it will come back. So there's something here around losing something, and that might be losing a physical item, losing something, or it might be losing a client project, a contract, or something that you've been wanting to work with, something that is part of protecting you going forward. Perhaps the protections you felt you had have been taken away. Don't worry, in 7 days, they will come back. So there's something here on when you feel like you've lost something, where you feel like something's taken away, or you feel vulnerable, don't chase after what will make you feel less vulnerable. Because with these curtains down, you are vulnerable, right? You are now visible to everybody, right? You are on display. And perhaps you want to stay private for a bit, stay at home a bit, stay hidden a bit, but do not chase after those curtains, okay? Do not chase after the thing that you feel will make you feel less vulnerable, okay? Don't chase after the ornaments that will adorn you. Just be patient, okay? 7 days, they will return. Now, I had this line come up many years ago. I traveled overseas, and this line came up with a trip. And what happened? We arrived at our international destination, and the luggage had been lost. And on the 8th day of being in that destination, the luggage was returned. Okay, so I have a very personal experience of literally the curtains of the carriage, right? The ornaments, the clothes disappearing. On the 8th day, they came back. So it's an interesting way of thinking about what might we lose, what might we be vulnerable, where's our vulnerability? It might not be a physical thing that we sense we've lost. But what is that emotional protection? What is that mental protection we feel is lost? And where might we want to race after it and get it back to feel protected, to feel okay? Just be okay to be vulnerable for these 7 days. It's okay. Just be patient. So the first two changing lines really caution us to be patient, put the brakes on, not race after the things that we feel are lost, because they will come back. Position 5 and 6. Okay, position 5 is a power line, a power position for this hexagram, and it speaks to great blessings and great opportunities and wonderful things completing. All right, blessings coming because we've completed this journey. It's a line of power in the completion hexagram. But what it calls us to do is how we celebrate that victory, how we bring ourselves to that moment of blessing is really important. There are two ways, right? They talk about slaughtering the ox in a big ceremony, big rah-rah, okay, or being very, very sincere, all dressed in white, all very quiet and unadorned, right? And being simple and bringing a simple blessing, all right? That is the path we need to follow. The big path of the big, big, big party, right? And the big slaughtering of the ox and the big ceremony around what has been completed is not the path. The path we're being asked to choose and to reflect on and to select is the path of simplicity and sincerity and humility. Okay, perhaps you are celebrating a year end with family or with colleagues. It's like being simple and being present, not having to be ostentatious or feel like you need to make a big, big fuss or impress people. There's something here that our offering, even if it's not that celebration, that it's an offering you're bringing as part of this completion process, that your offering is sincere and small and simple and is not built up with a whole lot of noise of trying to impress and trying to make the picture bigger than it is. Just be simple. And then our last one, doozy, in position 6, the completion of the completion of the completion. In this changing line, we are at the end. We are at the end of the cycle of this hexagram. We are at the end of the completion. And there's a couple of different ways to look at this line, depending on which resource you pull on. But essentially, as we are about to take that last step out of the water, as we cross the water, all right, and we are stepping onto the bank, we don't at that point turn back to look at the river and dwell on, look how far we've come. Okay, we complete this thing. Okay, and what the risk is, it's turning back and looking back. I almost feel like Lot's wife, right? Turning back, looking back, and dwelling on the river, what was crossed, what was overcome, what was done, is something that brings challenge. We have to put our eyes forward and we have to keep moving. Because in this completion cycle, part of this hexagram is that once things are complete and orderly, right, everything lines up. And that's what this hexagram brings. All the lines are in sync with each other, right? Everything's reaching its culmination point. And after a culmination point, it starts to unravel and we go back into a new cycle. Okay, it goes back into the void, the chaos, the light that comes into the darkness to bring a new seed, to bring a new burst of activity. So this moment, everything's just held together, but it will change. All right. And in that line, in line 6, we're in this very tenuous moment of our foot is about to go onto the bank on the other side of the river. And we could turn around and stop and wonder, wow, look at what we've done. Look at what we've overcome. Whoop, you'll sink into the water. You've not made the crossing. The other part of it is saying, watch out for being too deep in something, getting into things that are beyond, not completing where you are and trying to start new things when you're already in a completion, where you're in the depths of this river and you need to finish the crossing. So there's a couple of different things where this line is tricky. It brings risk, brings a warning of keeping your eyes focused forward, not stopping, of not gloating or welling about in where you are, but focusing on the next thing. Set in sight, what is the next task? And I know that at this time of the year, all we want to do is we want to sink into the water, right? We are tired. It's been a hectic, intense year, and there's still a few weeks left for us to get through. Part of it is setting our sights forward, hooking our sights on what's on the other side of that riverbank, because new things begin, new energy comes, and we will begin again. Okay, we'll begin the cycle. What is absolute order now becomes chaos again soon. And so we focus our eyes on the riverbank, on the next step, on the next task, on the next goalpost, and you use that to move yourself forward. Remembering our monthlies is contemplation, which helps us to see the bigger picture. Use that energy as a way of moving through changing line 6 onto that riverbank, into a place of safety and stability, and ready for the next adventure. That leads us to a second hexagram, all those changing lines. You might find that the second relating hexagram really feels strongly towards the end of the week because you've got all this activity happening in between. All right, and that is hexagram 18, work on what has been spoiled. Oh dear. The completion, okay, this transition gives us the opportunity to now begin work on the things where there is chaos. All right. These two fit beautifully together, and perhaps there are a whole lot of things in other areas of your life that have been put on hold because you're trying to finish your work year. You're trying to get to a place of completion. You're trying to get to your holiday, okay, where you're trying to get to an end goal that you've been working towards. And now that that has been reached, there is work to be done. There is no time to rest with the I Ching, I'm afraid. Here we are right at the end of the year and we have to go work on the garden. This hexagram brings us this idea of that garden full of weeds. We have let something go to seed. We have neglected some area of our life. Perhaps that's health or exercise, or we've been, working too much and not sleeping enough. What has been neglected? Where in your life are the weeds? What needs to be sorted out? Where in your awareness do you realize now where the weeds are? This is not just about something in the week. It's about where our attention and our focus goes in the week. What are we seeing and noticing, that bigger picture, through the weeds? Okay, where are the weeds? And sorting out weeds, there's no easy way. Yes, you can spray, toxins all over the place. But actually, it's about getting those gardening gloves on and getting into the summer sun, right? And getting stuck in and doing the work of pulling out the weeds and their roots. Okay, putting in the effort. So this hexagram brings blessings if we put in the work and we get stuck into the garden and we do what needs to get done to tidy up the mess. This might be your filing, your personal life, a relationship that's neglected. What is in chaos in your life right now? And I'm sure right now, if you think about it, you will know one area, at least one area, where there is chaos, where it has been neglected and is disorderly because other things have taken a priority, which is fine. Not everything can be done all the time. But what the I Ching is bringing us this week is that we need to get stuck into that garden. There's work to do, and it's important work. We are getting this hexagram this week because there's something we need to see. There's something we need to tackle. There's something that we need to sort out and resolve to free us up for the next phase of life. Well, that is going to be an interesting week. Let's see how it pans out for us all. Thank you for being here with me. If this was valuable, you know what to do. A like, a thumbs up would be great. And of course, new subscribers, we love you. Come and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get the episodes into your app. And of course, the follow button if you're on the podcast version. I look forward to connecting with you very soon for our next weekly forecast. And in the meantime, happy gardening, all right? Happy crossing. Stay focused on moving forward. Until then, take care.